Okay. So it's 9:30. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Albany Parking Authority Audit Committee. Has everyone had a chance to review the meeting minutes from March?
Yes.
I get a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
I guess I second.
Second.
Great. Okay. So the first order of business is a presentation from Jonathan Gibbs from BST, and he's going to review the plan scope for the annual audit. Do we have Jonathan? Hi, Jonathan. Hi,
I'm
Jonathan.
here. Can you folks hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me pop in here on Zoom. Wanted to spend a couple minutes just introducing myself. I know there's a lot of familiar faces in the room, but my name is Jonathan Gibbs. I'm a partner at BST. We are the independent CPA firm that you folks engage on the audit committee to perform your annual financial statement audit. Just wanted to take 2 or 3 minutes here to give a broad overview of what we plan on doing for the authority. We are planning on having field work in February. Similar to prior years, we will be completing the audit engagement by the March 31st deadline in accordance with the New York State Authority's Budget Office guidelines. Actually, I believe we can take this offline as well, but Sean and Misty, I think we actually penciled in the week of February 16th, and I can send you an email just to make sure that that date aligns with what works on your schedule, and we can adjust accordingly if we need to. But that'll be our field work around that time in February to give management enough time to provide us with the documentation that we ultimately need to issue our opinion. We do quite a bit of work for the authority in the sense that we not only do the financial statement audit, but we also issue a letter to the governance, which is addressed to you folks on the board, which summarizes the nature of our audit, any significant difficulties that we had, any other issues, audit adjustments and whatnot that should be brought to your attention at the conclusion of the audit. We also issue a report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance with other matters. And that's a requirement under the government auditing standards. In addition to that, we perform 3 attest engagements. One of them is the investment compliance report that the ABO requires over the authority's investments to ensure that they're compliant with New York State laws and regulations. We also do 2 test procedures over the authority's bond indenture, specifically sections 5.09 and section 6.01. To ensure that there's no future events of default and that the authority is compliant with how that trust indenture was written, I believe finalized back in 2002. We will be on site again for a week. We perform significant procedures we begin with the authority's internal controls over each of your processes and your major functions, from your cash receipts, cash disbursements, payroll, as well as the significant capital asset activity that the authority has just inherently given the nature of the operations of the parking authority. We also perform significant substantive procedures over underlying transactions to ensure that the expenses that the authority incurs are reported appropriately within the procurement requirements of the authority and are reported in an appropriate period, as well as the revenue transactions to ensure that the financial statements ultimately do not have material misstatements, and accordingly, we issue our audit opinion. We keep in touch with the authority management throughout the year. I think Misty does a great job of sending me lease agreements and new agreements just to keep us apprised of the ongoing activity of the authority throughout the year. But it's certainly a two-way street, especially with you folks in your roles as audit committee members. If there's ever any questions that you have, anything that you need on my end, we are very much readily available at BST to accommodate that, both virtually or set up a meeting on site if there's anything that we can do for you folks. So in conclusion here, only spent a couple minutes here just to kind of give a brief overview. We very much appreciate working for the authority. Looking forward to another great year and hopefully another great audit here coming up in February. And with that, I'll happily take any questions that you folks may have.
I don't have any questions. None on our side, Jonathan. Thank you. I'm sorry, Jen, did you have something?
No, I was. All right. Well, thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay. Do we
Thank you so much. I'm not gonna.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. We're all set.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you again for your
You
time.
You too.
Sorry about that.
No, so do we have to, he's already,
Yeah, I don't think we
Yeah.
have to do anything.
Okay.
I think we're just, it's the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Just in case you guys have any other questions.
Thank you. Okay, so the next item is review of policies. So there's copies of the Code of Ethics, defense and indemnification policy, conflict of interest and whistleblower. Have there been any changes since?
So I reviewed all the policies to see if they conformed with state law and the ABO guidance. Most of them match pretty much word for word what the ABO or the public officer law suggest doing. I don't have any recommended changes to any of the 4 policies.
You said most, you didn't say all.
Well, the most part would be that we conform it to the APA instead of it just being generalized. So, yeah, they all,
They all did.
yeah.
So I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right. And there's been no changes to the state law or the ABO guidance from last year to this year. So I would recommend keeping them the same.
Okay. Do you have any other questions or anything?
No.
Okay. So do we then recommend to the board that we,
I would only do it if there were changes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're keeping it the same and just noting that we reviewed them for
Yeah,
the
the
minutes.
minutes reflect that. We met with the auditor, we know what the auditor is, his plan, we reviewed policies and no changes. The minutes are good.
okay. So then at next week's board meeting, we'll provide the conflict of interest forms to board members. When do they have to return them?
We like to get them back November. That being said, as long as it's before the end of the year, it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, we'll try and nudge everybody to get them done. Shouldn't be, they shouldn't linger.
Okay. Anything for old business?
I have none.
Do we need to go into executive session?
I don't think so. No.
All right. Great. So it's 9:38. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Said we're
All right, we're adjourned.